Today, I am going to talk about my e-bike experience. So I've been in the market for an e-bike for a few years now. So I started riding regularly during the pandemic, just been riding around, getting comfortable on a bike. And for a while there, I've been wanting an e-bike just so I can go longer distances, because an average ride for me would be, I don't know, like 7 to 10 miles. And I wanted to be able to ride, I don't know, like 20 to 30 miles comfortably. And so for a while there, I was doing research on different bikes, different e-bikes, different types of e-bikes. And then Van Powers reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try and review one of their bikes. So I looked up all the different types of bikes that they have. And they have one called the UrbanGlide Ultra. A reviewer that I actually really trust did a review on that, and he really liked that bike. So I was like, is there any way that I can get the UrbanGlide Ultra? And so they sent it, and I've had it for just a few weeks now, and I've already put 300 miles on it. And because I've already put like 300 miles on it, I feel like I have a lot to say. So here we go. Initially, I wanted to get it as a reason to, go further and be able to ride with Jason, because he likes to do, 30, 40 mile rides. I got the UrbanGlide Ultra in gunmetal blue. They also have a red color option. And the size that I got is the small, which is good for someone who is 5'1" to 5'9". I'm 5'5". And I feel like it fits perfect for me. And it's like a very comfortable upright position. It's a step-through frame. It's easy to get on and off. It's a 9-speed bike, and the battery has a 70-mile range. There's a Bafang mid-drive motor, which is great for climbing, which I've never been good at climbing before, so I'll get into that in a little bit. There's 5 pedal assist levels that cuts out at 20 miles an hour. So you do have the capacity to go above 20 miles an hour, but you do have to push it for yourself, which is totally fine with me. I don't really go that fast, and I don't have a reason to go that fast in the city anyway. I usually just use pedal assist 1 or none at all. There's hydraulic disc brakes, which are really powerful. I'll get more into that in a little bit as I'm telling you about my ride so far. There's a front and seat suspension, which is good for a more comfortable ride. This I found really helpful when you're going a little bit off-road or you're going over something bumpy. You know that feeling you get when it's like your birthday and you get a new vehicle, like a bike, and you just have this like really excited feeling in your heart, and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I get to go on a ride and stuff. Like, I haven't had that feeling with any of my other bikes in like a really long time until I got this bike. I've just been able to do so much more than I've done before on my other bikes. So that's why I've been using it so much. I mean, not only am I spending more time with Jason riding around town and like exploring new places and like seeing the neighborhoods and different parts of LA that I've never seen before. Not only is that possible, I'm also able to run errands easily without having to repark my tandem parking situation, or just run like short errands without worrying about looking for parking. So ever since having this bike, I haven't used my car nearly as much as I've used it before to run errands. I'll make an excuse like throughout the day to even go out on my bike to go to the post office, so I don't know, it's just been really fun. And a lot of the things that I do are pretty close in proximity as well. So like whenever I want to visit my friends at work, I'll just hop on my bike, and it just feels so like liberating and freeing. This is just my recap of what I've done in the last few weeks having this bike so far. And Jason took a bunch of video footage. Thank you, Jason, for helping me with that. So first off, I got the package from Van Powers, which is the bike, and most of it was already assembled, but some of it you have to put together, like the wheels and the handlebars. You have to put it back in place and kind of readjust to your own settings. So that took me about 2 hours. If you know anything about bikes, it should be relatively quick, and I've never assembled a bike before, and I was able to do it. And the very next morning, we woke up pretty early at around 7 a.m. I was so excited. I put on a helmet and then rode to this bridge near my house called the Taylor Yard Bridge. It's this big orange bridge that took like 30 years to build. So we took that just to test out the bike. So we went from my neighborhood like past Silver Lake, past Atwater, and then over to like Griffith Park area. And then at that point, Jason was like, okay, cool, we've tested it like a pretty decent amount, like maybe like 10 miles or whatever. What do you want to do? And I'm like, I kind of want to keep going. And he was on his like his errands bike, basically, not his like fast bike or anything, but because I was so excited, he was like, yeah, let's just go for it. So then we just kept going, and we ended up going into the park a little bit, riding around. I got to see deer on the ride. I've never been able to climb up that high before without being like totally exhausted. So that's the great thing about the Bafang mid-drive motor. It's great for climbing hills. So if you live in a hilly area, which I totally do, that was a 2,200 foot elevation gain, and the distance was 29 miles, and it was like, it felt like a breeze. And the second ride that we went on, we went to Griffith Park, which is there's like the Griffith Observatory and stuff. So we ended up going up to the Griffith Observatory and looked over at the Hollywood sign, and it was really cool because again, I've never been up that high, and the view was fantastic, and I was just so excited, you know. And then on the way down, Jason was like, you have to be careful with this one street because it can get kind of rocky. This is where the brakes, I wanted to talk to you guys about the brakes. So the entire ride down, I was like, hey, I feel pretty good. The tires are wide in comparison to my other bikes, so I felt safe, right? And so we're riding down, and then suddenly I looked at the monitor, because there's this little monitor that tells you your speed, the odometer, and how long you've been riding for, the percentage that you have left, whether or not your lights are on and stuff. This little monitor just tells it all, right? So I'm looking down and it says 35, and I've never gone 35 before. So I kind of had like an internal conflict, you know. And then I see a crack, and then I hit both the brakes, and because the brakes are brand new and they're really strong, the bike just stopped, and then I got in an accident. Nothing happened to the bike. Like there were a few scratches here and there, and I got like a little scar down here and like scratches on my arms and stuff, but overall, like, not bad for going 35 to 0, like out of nowhere. And I knew that if I didn't get back on the bike immediately, then I would have this fear of riding at all. So 2 days later, I got a new helmet and then got back on the bike. So again, pedal assist cuts out at 20 miles an hour, but I was going downhill using my own momentum, so that's why it went up to 35. Oh, and because I've been going on longer, more bumpy rides, usually on my regular bike, because there's no suspension, like my butt will hurt. I mean, a lot of people talk about how their butt hurts after like a few miles of riding and stuff. But this is great because the seat is super comfortable, and the seat and the front suspension kind of moves around whenever you hit a bump. So it saves you. Another thing I want to mention is that group rides. So my friend Charlie often invites me and Jason on rides, and I've always said no before. I think I've done it once, but I was so exhausted afterwards because I was just on a regular bike. But finally, I've been able to go on rides with Charlie, and we went up to the Hollywood sign, so actually right above the Hollywood sign. And again, I've never done that before, and that ride, let's see the stats on this ride. That ride was a 1,957 foot elevation gain, and the distance was 23 miles, and it was with a small group of people. It was just so fun to be able to go on a ride, and we went a little bit off-road, almost like a hike, so like along a cliffside, so in dirt and like through bushes and stuff. And then we got up to the sign. I think a lot of people will say that it's not a workout, but it is up to you. It really is up to you, because there's 5 levels of pedal assist, and for the most part I only use 1. Every once in a while I'll use 2, but I hardly ever go into 3, 4, or 5. And even when I'm climbing a hill, because I do want some sort of workout whenever I ride my bike, so you do have the chance to get as much or as little of a workout as you want. Oh, the last fun thing that we went to is this thing called Arroyo Fest, and it's where the 110 freeway shuts down for a few hours that day, and then people rode bikes, and you were able to walk if you wanted to, or skateboard or rollerblade. There were a ton of bikers. So we went to Pasadena. We rode our bikes to Pasadena. Jason had a few friends in town, so we all went together early that morning, met up with another friend, and then hopped onto the freeway, and it was jam-packed with a bunch of different bikes. I rode along, and because the ride was pretty slow since there was so many people, the bike is around 70 pounds, so it is a heavier bike, but obviously you have all these gears that you can switch in and out of, so it's a comfortable ride if you were to turn your pedal assist off, which I had off for the most part during that Aurora Fest because it was so busy. But let's say you were out on a ride and then your bike runs out of energy, like you forgot to charge it or something like that. You can totally ride at home. It's totally possible. It's just a little bit more of a workout, but it's totally doable. It's not a big deal because there are certain segments in LA or on the bike trail or like just anywhere where I just don't feel comfortable having pedal assist on, so I'll just shut it off completely. And it just becomes like a heavy bike basically, or like a, God, what do you call it? Like a cruiser bike. So yesterday I charged my bike and it took about 2 to 3 hours to get a full charge from almost zero. If I wanted to run a quick errand, I usually just charge it for like 20 minutes or something like that and then run it out. If you are interested in getting an e-bike at all, now's the time to do it. Get some exercise, get out in the sun a little bit. I've just been having so much fun on my bike and I can't imagine not having it anymore. It's my main mode of transportation right now. I just get so excited and look forward to riding it every day. And I don't know, it's just made such a huge impact on my life in a positive way that if you were interested in getting an e-bike, I think do some research and just commit to it. And UrbanPowers is having a sale for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which I'll have all the info in the description if you guys are interested. And also, I know I'm not a very technical reviewer in terms of bikes. That's just not my forte, but there's some videos that really helped me out in getting this bike in particular. So I'll link that down below if you guys are interested in specs. But in general, thumbs up for me. I've convinced like a lot of friends to like look into getting e-bikes, and yeah, it's just been super fun. Again, thank you UrbanPowers for the bike, and I'm going to be enjoying it for years to come.
Pannier said, enough footage?